Good evening. Black Friday, November 23rd, 2012. The day after Thanksgiving, Jordan, Tevin, Tommy, and Leland piled into a red Dodge Durango as they were making their rounds at the community shopping malls. They were shopping for clothes and girls, if they were lucky enough to meet any. With their music blaring the latest rap tunes, they stopped at a convenience store to pick up some chewing gum. As Jordan had reminded the boys, if they intended to catch any girls, they had to have fresh breath. Within that 3.5 minutes, a man with malice in his heart and a gun in his glove box shot 10 bullets into the car of unarmed black teenage boys. Within those 3.5 minutes, as Michael Dunn and his girlfriend sped off into the night, my son Jordan lay dying on the ground of the convenience store parking lot with 3 bullet wounds. My name is Lucia McBath.
Love you, Lucia. We're here. Love you.
And I'm the proud mother of Jordan Davis. My precious son was full of life. My precious son had a deep love for God and humanity. My precious son never knew a stranger. My precious son was my greatest teacher as he taught me the importance of loving and accepting and forgiving others, just as I have forgiven Michael Dunn. Despite what America says about young black males, my son Jordan's life mattered. His life mattered because he truly tried to walk as the Lord had instructed him to do, and by the hopes and dreams that he and his father had for his future. His life mattered because his father and I believed that he was our miracle child, sent to us by a loving God that would use Jordan for something great. How little did we understand the role Jordan would play in the healing of a nation, crying out in pain under the afflictions of social injustice, racism, and gun violence. My son would be alive today had it not been for the loose and destructive gun laws in America that allow vigilantism, where gun owners are allowed to shoot first and ask questions later, where the shooter can cry that he feared for his life as a means of justifying his unconscionable behavior, as the gun becomes a tool for playing out his implicit biases towards someone that doesn't think, look, or act like him. The improper use of guns in America fuels our national crisis as we deal with the fruit of our troubles instead of the root of them. Unfortunately, women now have become, in staggering numbers, part of the outrageous gun violence statistics, and they are 11 times more likely to be shot and killed than women in any other developed nation. Domestic violence statistics in this country continue to rise, and shamefully, America's gun murder rate is more than 20 times the average of other developed nations. And disproportionately, people of color are the ones who suffer the most. These unnecessary tragedies are the shame and blemish of a body of legislators more beholden to the NRA gun lobby than to the safety and preservation of the people who put them in office. I will tell you that just recently, about a month ago, I spent time in the state of Missouri, imploring the governor's office there to not expand stand your ground legislation. The governor and the Senate and the House were considering expanding a gun law, a stand your ground law, that would allow people, citizens in the state of Missouri, to carry concealed loaded weapons anywhere they liked. I went into the state and I spoke with their staff and I implored them, as a victim of this very law, do not enact this legislation. But despite my plea, the state, the House, and the Senate, they overrode the veto of the governor, and they have enacted stand your ground legislation, and this is the first state that has enacted that legislation since the murder of Trayvon Martin. Shame on them. Shame on America.
Shame on them.
As history would show, women have always been on the forefront, fighting for the protection of our families and our right to live in a country free from fear and free from violence. And we gather here today, all of us standing side by side, wearing our full armor as we once again rise up to the rampant gun violence plaguing our communities. As the late Shirley Chisholm once said, you don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas. So I say to you this evening, rise up and take control. Take your power back. Pressure your legislators to pass laws that keep guns out of dangerous hands. Help to mobilize the community support for policies that respect both the Second Amendment rights and protect human lives. And I know that this is a nonpartisan moment, but I'm going to say very freely and very candidly to you, be sure to vote for a candidate that is willing to stamp out the violent public health crisis of gun violence. In closing, I say to you, each day as I awake, I am reminded that my son is no longer physically with me, but that I bear great responsibility in walking out his legacy. I'm fighting for him, and I'm fighting for you. Who will you fight for? Who will you stand for? Like Angela Davis, I am choosing to believe that my actions can radically transform the world, and I am choosing to do this for the rest of my life. Thank you.